Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Luthando Zibeko TV. This is Lahlela with Trompis. I'm today joined by the legend of South African football, Mark Anthony Fish. He played for Bafana Bafana, Jomo Cosmos, Orlando Pirates, went to Europe playing for Bolton Wanderers, Lazio, Ipswich,
and Charlton Athletic.
Charlton
Athletic.
Yeah. We played together with Sean.
Bartlett,
okay, great stuff. Thank you very much for
Good
joining
day.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trompis, is that your nickname?
Yes, Trump is my nickname.
Sure.
I had to take the band. I thought you still have your Bolton Wanderers band.
No, I thought you were wearing that because you were a Buccaneer. I don't know, black and white. Or you're doing it for that reason. You're trying to impress me.
Me,
You're all
black
dressed
and white.
You're all dressed in black. But
No ways.
no. It's yeah. Thanks for inviting me. It's when you ask me for the interview, you think, sure. Do I still have the memory of thinking back and which players and yeah, but obviously I have fond memories and let's hope we can share some good ones with you.
No, great stuff. Great stuff. You chose the venue. Said, okay, if you want to do the interview, meet me here at Caledonian at 12 o'clock. Why this venue?
So Caledonian Stadium, I think that if anyone is synonymous to football, they would know the Caledonian Stadium, and in past history you would know who Arcadia Shepherds was. So this is a club that had many unbelievable footballers come through the club. It's got a fantastic history, and it's a home. It was the home of Arcadia Shepherds. The Caledonian is a special venue because for me, you know, not only having played for Arcadia, you know, I went to Sunnyside Primary, used to walk to the stadium. We played many school cup finals here. We had what we used to call the mini World Cup, so you'd play for a country. And yeah, again, the history of the club, but more the stadium. The stadium is it was for me a home away from home. This is where I grew up. This is where I got to understand what Arcadia Shepherds is about. It was again a home away from home. It was my family, and it's what played a very important role in my upbringing to becoming very fortunate to eventually go on to become a football player for our national team.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Do you remember a couple of names that you played with here?
Sure, not
or else that you would have followed.
For sure. Deshi Tower, Roy Wegley, just a little bit older than me, the Michael Rogers, those are players that I would have looked up to. There's obviously bigger names from long gone. But you know, the players that were generally playing in the first team were the players that us as youngsters aspire to wanting to play in the first team or to be like them. So, and then you know, from my teammates, you know, I had the late Thomas Manachaki. He played before me here, but then went on to Cosmos, and obviously I not followed him at the time, but a couple of years later joined him there. And there's many other players, and that's why I said to you earlier is that when you ask me these questions, I know I'm going to forget one or two players, but there's phenomenal players that have gone through this club and, as I said, played at this phenomenal football stadium. Why I said yeah is because it's been a period over a long time where, you know, municipality wanted to make this into a park, then they halted this, and now just literally a week ago the new mayor's dug a spade in the ground and said the Caledonia is going to get renovated. So they're going to fix it up to what will be for the community. This is what the Caledonian has always been. It's been for the community.
Yes.
And hopefully, you know, we'll find more Bafana football stars coming through the Caledonian Stadium. So well done to the municipality and well done to a lot of people that have fought for many years to make sure this continues to be part of South African football history.
What does that mean to you? Obviously, Arcadia Shepherds, also very important for the history of this country. They were, I think, the first team that allowed, you know, black players to, you know, to join. Yeah. So,
Vincent Julius.
What does it mean for you, and what do you think it means for the society and also the community in Pretoria?
No, again, so that's you know, that was sure it was in the 70s, I think, that when that happened. And this is what football and as societies, you know, we have a lot of issues at the moment in the world, in South Africa, and we target issues that aren't real. We are all humans, and especially on the football field. This is a place where kids can play, no matter whether you're black, white, Indian, colored, no matter your race, you come and play football. And this is always what it has been for me as a club, and this is what I'm hoping with the renovations of the stadium, that it can continue to be for the community, for people that love football, that love watching football, that love supporting football, and most importantly, the kids that want to play football.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. This is Luthando Zibeko TV. Please do subscribe to our channel and click that notification button so that you don't miss any of our exclusive content brought to you in partnership with Limile Media. Thank you so much. We're going to do this differently. You are going to choose your questions. I've got a couple here, and yeah, hopefully it's just easy questions for you. We'll just want to have fun. People, you don't do a lot of interviews. How much football do you watch these days?
You know, you're asking questions because you asked me the question off camera, so that's why you know. But I've got more involved in football, and I have been watching a lot more. Yeah. The thing is, for many years, for the last couple of years, I've been doing football tournaments for farm workers on the farms of Limpopo. So, and I've been doing a different version of football. So my mind's been focused on that. So to watch a local PSL game or to watch an English Premiership game, I'm generally on the weekend, I'm traveling in Limpopo, so I don't really have the time for it. But at the moment, because of COVID, been fortunate to watch a little bit more of international football, local football, and even lower tier, meaning the NFD football as well in South Africa. So it's a new for me. But I'm watching a lot more football now than I did before COVID started.
Great stuff. You just spoke about Limpopo. I've obviously, as an aspiring philanthropist myself, I've watched your work and your foundation, mcfish Foundation. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what your projects are and what is the future looking like there?
So what we had been doing up until the beginning of last year, we've been doing football tournaments for the farm workers in Limpopo through there's actually six agricultural districts in Limpopo, but we only got to 5 of them. We never did the Waterberg. And it was just bringing farm workers and farm owners and farm managers closer together through football, through sport. With the first year, we introduced a new shortened version of football, which is exciting because the most important thing is we wanted to try and make people think differently about the game and play the game differently. So we did that. The second year we had a bigger tournament where we eventually had a provincial winner. And in the third year what we did is that we had the provincial winner. We selected the best farm workers, and we were fortunate to get a sponsor on board, and we let them stay at the High Performance Centre here in Pretoria. They trained from the Monday until the Thursday. The Friday we played against SuperSport at the shortened version of the game. And yes, SuperSport had a couple of their first 11 missing, but these farm workers played against SuperSport and they lost 2-1. Now we're talking about farm workers where if SuperSport had seen the central defender that played on the day, that was 36, so they'd seen him 12 years before, they would have signed him on that day. So again, this marks out to what we know in South Africa. There is talent out there. How do we expose the talent? How do we give them the opportunity to showcase their talent? And then last year, what we were hoping to do is now we're going to go rural schools again, but under 15. So we were going to go search for that talent. And that's what we still want to do. The shortened version of football is exciting because, you know, the nice thing is that us as old Madalas can play it, and the youngsters can obviously play it. It's a 40-minute game, 20 minutes, 20-minute halves. The beginning of the game, you flick the coin. When you win the toss, if I win the toss, I select when I want a 5-minute power play, and in that power play, the opposition must take 3 players off. Yes. You get to choose your power play as well, never at the same time, because in the power play, you're taking 3 players off. Football, you don't want to see 7 outfield players against each other on a full field because it's a little bit farcical. So what we've also tried to encourage is that outside the 18-yard area, if you shoot directly, it counts as 2 goals. So we're trying to encourage the youngsters to shoot. And then again, if it's a draw, no extra time, straight to penalties. You put the ball on the 18-yard, there by the semicircle, you put the ball on the line and you must hit the crossbar without a goalkeeper. So it's skills development. What I've seen is that it obviously improves players, makes the games quicker, and once the game is quicker, it improves skills, improving the coaching knowledge. And the most important, what I think is happening is improving the knowledge of a football fan, how we think a football match should be played and how a football match should be played. So it's created a lot of awareness. It's exciting, and yeah, the last 4 years have been very enjoyable doing the project in Limpopo, but we're hoping to go to other provinces.
No, well done. You've done amazing work, and we know the challenges, you know, at that particular space. We wish you guys well. I follow your work, and well done to you. So we are here now. Maybe I should take the first question. I should fire the first shot. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Alessandro Nesta.
Is that a question or is that a statement? Alessandro Nesta, obviously, fond memories. We're very fortunate to, when I left Orlando Pirates and went to and joined Lazio, he was my central defense partner with Shamot. But Alessandro Nesta had just come back from the, I think, the under 20 Euro, and yeah, he was the big exciting talent in Italian football. Fantastic player, fantastic individual. You know, I obviously spent a year there with them. Was obviously one of the younger guys. Always made me feel very welcome at the club. Having to learn Italian, I got on very well with him. And then again, very fortunate, which I enjoyed the most, which made it a full circle, is that in 2006, I was sitting with our late friend Philemon Chippa Masinga. We were sitting in the stadium at the semi-final where Italy were playing against Germany.
Oh, lovely.
And obviously Italy beat Germany.
Yes, yes.
We had some abuse from the German fans because we were the two only oaks that jumped up amongst the Germans. But again, you know, fantastic footballer, a fantastic individual, and to have played with him in 96, 97 season, and then literally nearly 9-10 years later, you're watching him at the World Cup doing what he does best. And yeah, one of the great defenders for Italy. So very simple name, very easy question, and very fortunate to have played with him and watch him play live, and yeah, fantastic individual.
How does he compare, you know, to the reality of defenders from that side? I mean, Paolo Maldini, Franco Baresi. How does he compare? Do you think maybe one of the top?
Certainly, don't forget Cannavaro, don't forget the captain.
Okay.
So he's certainly in that top elite of defenders. You know, you mentioned Maldini, then you mentioned Baresi. You know, that's the old AC Milan, and then obviously he went to Milan himself. But yeah, certainly he's in a. He's made his mark in Italian history. Obviously, not only by winning the World Cup with Italy, but I think just as the quality of player that he was, and I think his character on and off the field showed the talent that he was. So difficult to class players, but he's certainly in the top probably defenders to ever have played for Lazio, AC Milan, and certainly for Italy itself.
Italy and maybe Europe.
Yeah.
Just on defenders, there's so much emphasis on playing defenders and you know, goal scoring defenders. How much emphasis these days is being put on the art of defense as a former defender yourself?
So I think that the art of defense is certainly over the years has changed, where, you know, if you look at late 80s and early 90s, mid 90s, when you're probably in the English Premier League, you needed a defender to be strong, and they just needed to know how to defend. The game has evolved so much that some of the best defenders are one of the players that are the best and most comfortable on a football. So the art of defending is obviously there. You need to be able to defend, which is most important. But as we look at defenders now, you must be able to play. You can't just defend. So again, you look at the players that you would look at playing either for their club or country. Those players are naturally very gifted. They're athletes. They're good with both left and right foot, and they must be able to play it from the back. So the art of defending it's grown more than just being the defender. It's you must be able to be a player as well now.
Great stuff. Yoko.
Are we going to? Oh, sorry, I didn't really look.
Okay.
Apt.
Pretoria Boys High.
Pretoria Boys High, good one there. So, does that go back in your pocket? Pretoria Boys High. So, as I said earlier, you know, I grew up here at Sunnyside. My high school, well, the high school to go to was, there were probably other high schools I could have gone to, but Boys High was the closest, and yeah, my mom picked that school. At the time, you had to be in the zone, a certain zone, to be able to go to the school. But we were actually a block away, out of the zone. So my mother gave another dress for me to get into the school. But it's a school with a fantastic history. It's, I mean, I think it's been well documented how many, you know, issues that I had as a footballer at the school.
Yeah.
But I know times moved on, and you know, I look now, and I'm very fortunate that where I'm going to have. And now a 30-year reunion since I matriculated. And you know, the guys, there were some fantastic individuals, fantastic teachers, and the school was, as a whole, an education as a family, was very good for me. From sporting and from all the other issues, we grow up, we move on, and it was part of me actually growing up as an individual.
You played a couple of codes there?
So I've played hockey in the, what's it now? What do you call it now? Grade 8 and grade 9, and I played cricket. And then grade 10, which is grade 10 is standard 10, is it? I was playing first team cricket for the school, which I quite enjoyed. But again, that's. Cricket is a sport that you know, I always find it amazing how you'll speak to other sporting code fans, and they'll go, "But football's 90 minutes and it's a 0-0 draw." Yeah. Cricket, you play 5 days, it's a draw. So I had a good period of playing cricket, but then I went to the first team coach, and he knew that my passion was football, and I just said to him, "No, that I'm not really gonna. My interest isn't in cricket anymore."
How did playing all these codes prepare your career in football?
Well, I played all the codes that I possibly could at primary school. I mean, I was swimming, tennis, cricket. Sure, all the sporting codes. I suppose it gives you a different perspective, because there you have, if you play cricket, it's a team sport. You play tennis, it's an individual sport. Yes, you can play doubles, but individual sport. When you swim, it's an individual sport. Obviously, you can swim in a relay, it's a team. So it gives you that perspective of how to do things individually for yourself. But obviously, when you're doing things better as an individual for yourself, you're hopefully improving the team that you're playing with. So it was very important for me to experience it and go through it. And I think it probably, as you said, probably played a very important role of me being able to shape me to be able to eventually go and play football, not only in South Africa, but overseas, and play for Bafana as well.
Lovely stuff. Let's go.
Oh, me again. I thought you were going to pick again. You got a few here. Huh?
I've got a few.
Oh, I had to pull this one, eh?
Okay. Bafana 96.
So there it comes. The goosebumps come.
Okay.
You can see.
All right. Yes.
I pulled it out. It's
yeah.
It's
What goes through your mind? Bafana 96.
What goes through my mind is a team that went into the tournament. It was groomed for the 2 years since '94. An unbelievable team, unbelievable players, unbelievable president at the time, the late Madiba, an unbelievable SAFA president, Stix Moreira, the media, you know, everyone was behind football. Everyone, maybe not at the beginning of the tournament, but after the first game, certainly, and even the public. So it's always got fond memories. I mean, there's many things I can talk about. I can talk about individuals and players, but it's and obviously Clive Barker is the coach. You know, it meant so much for us. We were a family that we knew we had a destiny, and we were very fortunate to go out and fulfill that destiny. And it has beautiful memories. But again, I will state that Bafana team, or that era, where if you were fortunate to be on the bus from the Sunnyside Park Hotel to FNB Stadium, with obviously police escort, which probably takes you 25 minutes maximum, if you were on that bus, you would have experienced a team spirit, a family, a camaraderie that once we got out onto the field, there weren't many teams that would beat us. And that for me is fond memories, because you'll have individuals singing on the bus, individuals dancing, and everyone just expressing themselves for themselves and obviously for the sake of the team.
Many years later, we have not repeated that feat. Does it bring, sadness to you that we have not built?
I think
we're unable to build from that victory.
I think, yeah, if we want to go back to then yes, I do think that Salva should have had a better plan. If you look at the history of how we slowly went downhill from winning to coming second to coming third in Ghana, Nigeria, to I think then maybe not qualifying but not going through the group. And then I still remember there was one in Egypt where we didn't score a goal or didn't get a point neither. And now the last 7 Afcons, we've only qualified for 4 of them. So people talk about development, people talk about they're doing this, they're doing that, but are they doing enough of it? Are the right people involved doing the right things? So it is sad. Of course, I don't want to see, and I don't, we're quick to go about these players aren't good enough, and this player, I'd say, when you play football, I'm still believing 100% in my heart that no footballer goes out to lose on a football field. So is the infrastructure right around that team that it should be? You always beg to wonder. So I think that the sad thing is that players have come and gone, coaches have come and gone, but many people in the federation are still there, and they have not evolved with the game for the sake of our nation.
Wow. Let's move.
Okay. I quite enjoy you pulling out because I'm pulling all the predictable ones.
No, I'm coming. I'll do the next one.
World Cup.
World Cup 98.
Yeah, so it's not difficult for me to speak about. Phenomenal that we qualified for the World Cup. We went and played the Confederations Cup in Saudi Arabia. We played against Czech Republic, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. Czech Republic, I think, had just came third in the Euro, or maybe even lost the final. So unbelievable team. Uruguay, I think, could have been it's a Copa America champions, and then Saudi Arabia. So it was a difficult tournament. It was our first real international tournament, playing against teams around the world, not only on the continent. And we did well enough. It should never have been a measuring stick for us. It should have just been experience. We had qualified for World Cup. Now what do we do to improve for the World Cup? And unfortunately, next month we found ourselves without a coach. We had Jomo come in for the Afcon in '98, interim coach who did well, and then for whatever reason, then Jomo's not there, and now there's a new coach. And unfortunately, the new coach, Troussier, unfortunately, he picked overseas-based players and local-based players, and when we got together the squad, he immediately separated us, meaning there's you local, you overseas players. He treated the players differently, and I still to this day wish that they'd never, obviously not got rid of Clive, or Clive shouldn't have resigned, but even Jomo should have just left Jomo. He had worked well with the team at the Afcon. Yes. He could have worked on it, and then for the sake, the federation always feels they must get a big name or glamorous international coach to come and coach us, and they don't necessarily know how to. Even though I think he had been at Chiefs, so didn't know how to handle players, and I think sadly that's our memory of '98. Forget the games even. It's just of having a coach that. Still to this day, I wish we'd never had him, because I think that many things would have been different in that squad for many players, and who knows what would have happened.
There was obviously an uproar at home about the senior players that could not sort of help that situation. What is your response to that?
So the senior, the uproar, the senior players. So we had an incident where, the players, rebelled against him. And then I'm going to say the players, we did what we wanted. Meaning not listening or responding to him. We had a curfew, and a lot of the players then didn't come back at that curfew and they stayed out. Obviously, two infamous individuals that got sent home. But I just think that, you had the difference of playing for other coaches in the national team. They respected you as an adult, didn't treat you like a child. And I think that played out, and unfortunately it played out to the worst extent at the World Cup with Philip Troussier and many other people that were involved with the federation.
Yeah. All right, we move. You've wanted me to go. Let's see. What do I have here?
Show that.
Edward Motale.
What do you want me to say? I think everyone knows Edward Motale. Everyone enjoys Eddie as a character. I was very fortunate, or unfortunate, whichever you look at it sometimes. But certainly Eddie was my captain when we won in '95. He lifted the African Champions League for Orlando Pirates. Was my roommate. '96, he was my roommate at the Afcon, and immediately think Eddie. I just remember, Eddie going through to Pirates to go train at Megawatt Park, and Eddie picking up 3, 4, 5 of us driving through in one car going to train. So very close relationship. Brother from another mother, if you want to say those things. But it's a character and always been a really good influence on me as a person. And Eddie's a person that feels a lot for people, wants to do a lot for people, and I think that he was a fantastic roommate, a good captain, and he's a people's person. So he taught me a lot as a individual, on and off the field.
Great stuff. You have a message from Eddie, but I want to read what you said on the interview in April 1996. You were chatting to FIFA.com, and you were talking about your relationship with Edward Motale. The question goes, some people might find it ironic that as a white you belong to a racial group that imprisoned Mr. Mandela for decades. And your response is, I am not a child of apartheid, and my best friend is Edward Motale, a black teammate from Orlando Pirates. You hit Eddie, you hit me.
You summed it up very well there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So Eddie sent me a message when I called him, and I said, Eddie, I will be speaking to your mate, mcfish. He said, wow, okay, fishy. He said, okay, fine. I'm going to send something, just a message. I don't know if it's audible enough, but...
Sure, happy. Nice to hear your voice, my man. Yeah, and I'm always proud of you. I always listen to your interview, like right now I'm listening. Yeah, and I'm happy for you. And you are my loyal friends, if people didn't know that. This thing of Michael Jackson is black is white, we have done it long ago, before even Suburban Bliss. So we've been friends for long. Is black is white. And you never let me down, and I never let you down. And that's how true friends we are. And I wish you all the best, and you'll be always be my friend. God bless. And you don't forget to tell people that we are born again now. In
Born
the
again.
name of Jesus.
Born again.
Amen.
Eddie. So, I think that Eddie sums it up. I think he says it in his way. That is his characteristic. But for sure, I think that people don't understand it. That I don't see color.
Yes.
I can see color. I'm not colorblind, but I don't see color because of the way that I was brought up at this football club, and again, you know, Eddie's taken me to Mamelodi, been to Soweto, and he's been to places with me.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear Majen's voice. You know, that one, he can send me a voice note. He hasn't maybe speak to me for a couple of months, but I'll never repeat the things he says to me on the voice note. But yeah, it's we have certainly a bond that is, represents a lot of South African football in the sense of what we achieved in going from 94, 95, the Champions League, and 96, and we're a good example. It's a good example of what South Africa is actually about.
Yeah, for your benefit, Eddie basically paying tribute to mcfish, being a loyal friend, being one of his teammates. He has fond memories playing with him, but also he mentions that you are both saved now.
Yeah, I've been saved for a while. I don't know about Eddie. Did he say saved?
He says you're both saved. Yeah.
I think Eddie needs to, sometimes you need to put that head under again. And then, but no, certainly. It's a way of life, and it's something that needs to happen when you, hopefully you can find God earlier in your life. But when you don't, there's a time that you must stand up, man up, and grow up. So certainly, don't get me wrong, I still get many things wrong every day, but I'm certainly a God-fearing man, and
thank you.
I think Eddie's, he's there. Yeah, he's there, but he does it in Eddie's way, as you can imagine.
The subject about race, unfortunately, you were in the center of maybe controversy. How did you feel about it when you were accused of not supporting Black Lives Matter? What is your take on it, and how did you feel in the manner Twitter community responded to it?
So again, I don't want to actually sit here and talk about, because I have an opinion. I know how I grew up, and when people say Black Lives Matter and I say all lives matter, I'm a firm believer. Yes, we all brought up differently. We all had different experiences. When I say Black lives don't matter, I'm not thinking apartheid. I didn't start apartheid. I played here with blacks, Indians, colored here, Arcadia Shepherds. I didn't know any different. Obviously, we're not stupid now. I went to school, at primary school. I think we had the first black kid come to our school in 91, the year I matriculated. But my friend, at the end of the day, you don't do wrong to no matter the color of the person. You support and you help whichever person. And yes, you get people talk out about it, and no one knows how I grew up. So, because you maybe come from an impoverished past and this and that, and you didn't make it, or you did make it, whatever, I don't hold on to what happened to me in my life. So I'm a firm believer, because everyone jumps up, so an individual dies, individuals die every day. Why don't we uproar about that every day? People are dying in Syria every single day, getting bombed and that. Why don't we cry Arab lives matter? It's not all lives matter, because it's important. The human race has gone berserk. We're doing things that are strange, that if we're God-fearing people, you'd think it's becoming the end of the times, the way that the world is running and conducting itself. So it's a firm belief is that I know I was brought up, and all colors and all lives matter, no matter. There's not one that needs to be singled out to get attention, because at the end of the day, again, and I'll be honest, when the English Premier League started and there's Black Lives Matter and the guys are putting their knees down, guarantee you 90% don't even know what they're putting their knees down for. But now it's turned around more, and it's now end racism. Fight against racism. Now that's a more powerful statement than the Black Lives Matter, because it's everyone. It's everyone. It's people that are dying. The Aborigines. It's people dying in South America. It's not a color thing. It's a human thing, and we need to take more care of ourselves and for each other. We don't single out a specific race. I don't think it's what needs to be done. It's not helping anyone by singling out a race that We are all in this together, and we make our effort as a white person, as a black person, as a colored, as an Arab, as an Indian. We make sure that we take care of ourselves, the individuals, and other races that we come across.
Great stuff. We move.
Hey, you want to put controversy, you? No, he's going to play that the most. That's going to be the biggest clip. You must edit it. Eh? Yeah, check this. Again, sorry. Before I answered, you asked about so how did I feel about it? I think you experienced a little bit now, but I think the most disappointing thing for me was that people that know me as a person, a lot of them were going, you were wrong to say that, you were this and that. They know me. They know me from the age of 10. Those were the people that didn't have my back. The nice thing is that people that I didn't expect had my back. So from a Twitter, that doesn't bother me. I don't care what people think about me, what they say. I know who I am and what I stand for. And unfortunately, no matter whether you do good or bad, people's always going to have an opinion. They're always going to have a statement to try and bring people down. People don't want to see anyone have success. And obviously, when people aren't having success, people like to push people down. So it's a thing. Luckily, I'm divorced twice, and so I've had 2 ex-wives. So I know how to handle whatever gets said. So it's not a problem.
Great stuff. No, thanks for taking time just to talk to us about that openly. Thank you.
No problem.
Wow.
So I will tell you something now that it gives me goosebumps, because I remember the story that was told, and it's whether you want to hear it or not, I will never say the word. Obviously, you follow Bafana Bafana, you know what Madiba meant for us as a team and everything, and different experiences. And then fortunately, was lucky to be involved in an individual that approached the agent representing me and Lucas to write Madiba's Boys. Obviously, how Lucas was brought up and what he went through, and how I brought up and what I went through. We had the very fortunate opportunity to go to Madiba's house in Charlton. Trying to think the year, it might have been 97, 98, somewhere there. And you're sitting now alone with arguably one of the greatest humans to ever live. The way he conducted himself and the way he was. And, he told a story that when I tell people, and I don't tell many people the story because people get, upset about it. But he sat there, and me and Lucas sitting there, and he started telling us, he wasn't so it was later, because he wasn't the president anymore, but he still obviously was raising funds for the government and for the Madiba, the foundation, Nelson Mandela Foundation. And he said to us, he will call all these big companies that generally the CEOs are white Afrikaners. This is coming out of his mouth. He says, and then he will invite them to specifically come on a Friday to a meeting, because he obviously wants to get money for whatever cause. And he says that then he will tell them, but you must bring your wife with. And the guy will say, but why must I bring my wife with? He says, and this came out of his, I won't repeat the word, but it came out of his mouth. He said, because the white Afrikaans woman will say, luister hierso jou, ons gee nie vir jou geld nie. And this, when it came out of his mouth, you realize an individual forget what he had been through.
What does that mean?
What he was standing for, and how he, as an individual, was saying, yeah, we are united. Yeah, we do it together.
Wow. But for the benefit of...
Nah, I don't use that word. You know the word. I don't use it. Never.
Wow.
So, again, Madiba's Boys, very fortunate to be in a book with the legend himself, Lucas Gadebi. Him getting shot as a kid, and all the shit that he made. Yeah. But it was just was an honor, and to have Madiba write the foreword of the book.
Yes.
Again, and one thing he did say to us, he said to us sitting there as well, he said, we must understand as sports stars, we are more important to the youth than any politician could ever be. And I think that always resonates, yes, because you can do what needs to be done on the sports field, but again, we get it wrong. We're all human, we make mistakes, but what you do off the field is very important. And it always shows how, we now, you don't want to develop a young guy to be a footballer. You want to develop a young man to be a man.
Yes.
And then that's the key, what he was saying. So, yeah. Sports stars must always remember that there's more to just playing the sport. You need to be an example and a lesson, no, not necessarily a lesson, just an example to those around you so that you can inspire the youth to be better, or just give them that hope of that things can be better.
The Madiba Magic. What is Madiba Magic? And how would you explain it, to someone like me who is not in that room before that final against Tunisia in 1996? What is it? What is it all about? What is this hype about Madiba Magic?
I will forget even the Afcon, because he came in the opening game. I think for me, if the Madiba Magic is a word, magic is more the aura the individual brought into the room that made you realize this is someone that has forgotten, he's moved on from the past, and he knew what he wanted to do for this country. So Madiba standing in the change at the hotel in a room waiting for us to greet us, all hand by hand, shake our hand, and know all our names. That is remarkable. And the magic is what I experienced, what we experienced as a team. I think it was 94 when we were playing Zambia at Ellis Park, inauguration game.
Oh.
If you're probably too young.
I watched that on black and white at home. I watched it,
TV, there you
I
go.
watched it. Yeah.
And that was, I think, the start of Madiba Magic, actually.
You actually just turned 20 as well.
That was actually the start of Madiba Magic, because we can move on. That is actually because we move on the Springboks to Afcon. 94, we play against Zambia, inauguration game at Ellis Park, and we go in halftime. Madiba was, obviously everything was happening at the Union Buildings. It was meant to be at the start of the game, but things were delayed. We went in halftime, we were 1-0 down.
Wow.
Then said, no, we must come out. Helicopter lands. Madiba obviously greets the Zambian team, greets the Bafana team. I think it's Doctor and Brendan Augustine went on to score. We beat Zambia 2-1.
Wow.
That was the start of Madiba Magic now, if I think back of it. On his day, on the day that he became the president of a country that I want to say he had so much hope for. He has. I would like to think that magic continues to live in some way or form in South Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the first part of the conversation with South African football legend mcfish. This is the end of part 1. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, your channel, and click that notification button so that you don't miss any of our exclusive content. This is brought to you in partnership with Limile Media. Thank you so much.